In this series on how I write, design, and self-publish my books, in step number 9 of this process, I'd like to edit my book a second time around after I've laid out the interior pages of my book in my preferred publishing program, which is Affinity Publisher. Now, my editor did edit my book inside the Google Doc before I brought it over into the preferred publishing program, but no one's perfect, and I do want my work to be edited one more time, a second pass through, before the book actually goes to the printer. So, how do you get your book to the editor once it's been laid out in the publisher program? Well, you have a few choices, and here are 3 of them. And before I get into these 3 ways, you might ask your editor, how would you like to receive my book files? They may already have a format down or a procedure. They may know how they like to receive book files. Ask them and listen. You might be able to cater to their wishes before you enter into offering them the following 3 ways that you could send your files to the editor. Okay, number 1, you can print your book files into PDF format and then send the editor your PDF files via email attachment. They must be able to read a PDF document. Most people can. They can then read your document in PDF format and make notes separately, either on a piece of paper, or they can actually make notes in the PDF file if they know how. That's not always the most convenient way, but it is a way. Once your edits are compiled, you'll go back and make those needed changes back in the publishing program where your book is. Done, send it to the book printer, rock and roll. Number 2, you can print your book files onto regular paper, then 3-hole punch them, optional, and stick those papers in a 3-ring binder, which is what I did years ago. You know, your editor can then make the corrections in red pen, right on the paper, as they read them. Pretty cool. Once you get your corrections back, you can look right on the page, go page by page, and make the changes in the publishing program for the changes that need to be made and that you found in red. Done. Send the book to the printer. Or my favorite method is I like to give my editor my actual Affinity Publisher book files from the software so that they can edit my book directly inside the software program, inside the book files, in real time. This saves time and energy when the edits and corrections are made for me by the editor as he or she finds them right in the software program. The requirement, though, is that the editor must have the software that I've got on their computer, Affinity Publisher. Well, for Affinity Publisher, which is my preferred publishing program, the cost for this program is $54.99. You know what I'm saying? A small price for this huge convenience. So I'll go buy my editor a software license for this software, and I'll pay them too to edit my book. Because again, the time it saves me to enter all those corrections, I'd rather pay the $55, right? Let them have the software. And to use this software is a lot like using Microsoft Publisher or even Word. Once you learn how to use it yourself, and that is if you do. Otherwise, whoever you're going to choose and hire to lay your book out for you in one of these publisher programs, you'll probably wind up having them print PDF copies, and then you'll send your PDF copies to the editor. But I'm just letting you know what I do. And my editor works closely with me for all my books. So since I've got more books coming down the line, for me to have the software program that I use to publish my books and lay them out, it just makes sense for me to make sure that my editor has that program so they can make the changes that I want, the corrections, the edits. Let your editor make them right in the software program. And then when that's done, I get the files back, and then I can go to town right to the printer. Now, let's say you buy Affinity Publisher for your editor. You purchased the license, you sent them the product key so they can register the software on their computer. It opens up and they're ready to go. Hey, Bart, send me your publisher files. Well, I would compose a new email. Subject line, please edit this book, Affinity Publisher, book files attached. Then, in the body of the email, hey, editor's name. Attached are the 2 Affinity Publisher files you need to edit my book, front and body pages. When you're done editing my files, before sending them back to me, rename each file just by adding _ edited and then the date. So for example, My Amazing Book Title Front Pages 08/08/22 becomes My Amazing Book Title Front Pages Edited 08/15/22. Questions, let me know. Kind regards. And here are the two files that I attached, both the front pages and the body pages. Send away. Now, when I get the book files back from the editor, he'll probably send me an email that looks something like this. Hey Bart, here are your book files, which I edited using the Affinity Publisher software. I really loved editing your book this way. So easy, and I can see how it saves you time too. I do have questions. Let's talk when you're free. Editor's name, telephone number. Here are the two book files that I sent him, but he edited them, and then remember, he renamed them with the edited extra in the name. So I'm going to save these files to the same folder where my books are. So imagine these are the original files that I used and that I wrote, and then I'm going to save his edited version in the same folder. Save, and then we'll save this one too. Okay? And see how this front page looks, but I can tell which one was edited. This one. Same thing with the body pages. Save. That's it. Now, I'm going to go over into the Publisher program, and I'll show you what I do there once I have these files saved to my hard drive. Come on, let's check it out. Okay, now I'm in the Affinity Publisher program, and all I'm going to do is go File, Open, and I'm going to go open the edited versions of the book, and I'm actually going to read them. I'm going to read and see where the editor made changes, corrections. I'm going to go, oh, that reads better. Oh, yes. Oh, hey, I didn't know that was a problem. Great, But here's the thing, though. I see that I have my original files and the edited files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it TBF. And I do this with a lot of files and folders that I work with. TBF, it stands for to be filed. And this is where I'm going to take these two files, the original files that I was working on, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them in this to be filed folder. Good. Now all I see are the edited files that are edited, and that's all I want to work with. I don't want to work with an old book file that's not edited. Good. Well, all I'm going to do is open up these files and start reading the book. If I like what I see, like what I read, I'm going to work on preparing these files for the printer. And I'll show you how to do that in the next video tutorial, because I bet these books are ready to go. After I read the books, I'm sure they're ready to go. Let's send them to the printer. Now, I'm excited. Come on, let's go. Let's check it out.